true or false? When a girl is waterfalling, that means she has reached the big O. Has she reached an orgasm if she's waterfalling? No, that does not mean she's reached the big O. It just means that she's spraying. Some people are like, if you're having a waterfall, that means you're experiencing a better O, or that he's so good in bed and that's a huge sign of success. It just means she sprayed or she didn't. It doesn't equal anything. Welcome back. It's your host, Hallismmith, for another episode of Girl Core. You guys know I love talking about intimacy and all these types of things because the last thing I want you guys to have to do is learn from watching porn. That's like going to an art museum, looking at art and being like, okay, now I know how to paint. No, the heck you don't. You got to learn the technique, the details. You have to learn the art of drawing and painting and whatever art style it might be. There's so many different styles and techniques. That is intimacy. That is Pound Town. There are so many different styles, techniques, and little things you need to know to grow and to change. And that's also the thing. I hate when people are like, it's just a natural instinct. Great intimacy doesn't just happen. There's so much shame and stigma around it. And whenever you talk about these things, there's going to be people that get upset. There's going to be people that get mad. I know that. That's why I talk about it, because why are we getting so upset at such a natural thing? Everybody sees my videos on TikTok, right? You see my pink water bottle girl tips. That is just one part of the exploration phase of having amazing intimacy, of having amazing sex. Exploration is one of the really fun things that makes you grow with your partner, that makes you connect, and it really does help a relationship to explore different things, like trying some crazy pink water bottle brain action, or trying some new bedroom pose, or just trying something new in the bedroom. Whether it be dirty talk or talking them through it, trying something new in the bedroom is going to connect you with your partner so much deeper because you're learning how to be vulnerable. You're learning how to communicate verbally and non-verbally. I'm going to keep talking about it because I like to talk about these things. There's so much more than, yes, the fun parts of intimacy, but there's so many little parts that all connect to create a really amazing sex life. Because we don't talk about it, we then blame our intimacy on our relationship. Oh, you guys are going through a rough patch because of this. If you just figure out that relationship, then your intimacy will follow. That's not the case. Intimacy is separate than your relationship. Great intimacy doesn't just happen. It's something you learn, something that changes. It's something that you have to keep learning about. The real part of actually having good intimacy takes understanding vulnerability, having good communication verbally and non-verbally. It takes a lot of exploration. It takes exploring new things with your partner, trying new things, alone, learning about yourself and really figuring out your body, as well as learning how to connect with two people, because connecting with yourself is easy, but learning how to connect at an intimate level with somebody else is a tricky problem you have to work on. And the last biggest thing is present, how to be present in a moment, how to be aware in a moment, completely in tune with your body. Intimacy at 20 is going to be completely different when you're 60 because your body changes. It's just like if you bought a pair of shoes at 14 years old and had to wear those shoes for the rest of your life. The problem is your feet are going to get bigger. The style of the shoe might go out of style. They might wear down, get beat up, have a hole in them. But you don't wear them the rest of your life because that would just be crazy. If you don't go to Pound Town, you did at 20 years old and never change. You need to learn to adjust your body. This is going to happen when you have babies, when you get older and you stop producing the testosterone, the estrogen. These things in your body are going to change. It is something that you should always be learning about. Learning about intimacy and body autonomy is something that people at every age should be doing. Everybody needs to understand that body autonomy is a thing, that this is your body, your boundaries, your personal space. They need to understand intimacy so that they have the understanding to communicate and set boundaries for what people can do and not do to them. If more young kids understood body autonomy and the rights and wrongs, so many bad situations could be avoided. The more we talk about it, the safer it becomes for everybody and the better our relationships are intimately. There are so many things you need to understand and continuously learn about your own personal intimacy and your own body autonomy because it's going to change. I will continue to talk about Pound Town to be a voice because not everybody is taught these things and not everybody learns boundaries. Not everybody has the openness of friends and family and education. If you want to wait for marriage, that's beautiful. Go for it. One day, if you wait for marriage, you will have an understanding of yourself, your partner, and be able to have good intimacy and a healthy relationship because you have body autonomy, you understand communication and your boundaries. You will know what is right and what is wrong. Yes, there's all the fun things about Pound Town that we like to talk about because it is fun to receive. It is fun to give. Enjoying pleasure is completely okay. When I give advice about Pound Town, this is all just for fun because pleasure is fun. It should be something fun to give and receive because you want to, with no ulterior motive. It is normal to want to make your boyfriend feel good, make your situationship feel good, make a hookup feel good. It's fun to also receive, to sit back and relax and have somebody go down on you. It's good to know how to do it right and make it better for somebody because it's not something that you're doing because you have to. It's because you want to. I'm giving tips on how to give brain or to ride it like a rodeo because it just makes it better for both of you. The more you enjoy giving and taking, it enhances your intimacy so much better. If you have to be hating one task during your intimacy, then you're doing it wrong. Anything you do in the bedroom should be something you look forward to. If you're like, I absolutely hate doing that, don't do it. You don't have to do anything you don't want to. Speaking of fun and pleasure, we're going to get into one of my most requested topics, how to squirt. We're going to dive into a few things on how to waterfall, the big misconceptions and things that people misunderstand about it. First question, is it pee? The answer is no. Yes, there is a little percentage of that in it, but it's actually not. So when a woman gets turned on, it gets very nice and lubricated. That is actually that same water that is coming out when she is spraying. It comes from the urethra. It's that little sponge right there where the G spot is. That lubrication comes from that zone. They believe it's actually the same water that turns your kitty cat into a slip and slide that is being sprayed out of the gal. True or false? When a girl is waterfalling, that means she has reached the big O. Has she reached an orgasm if she's waterfalling? No, that does not mean she's reached the big O. It just means that she's spraying. Some people are like, if you're having a waterfall, that means you're experiencing a better O, or that he's so good in bed and that's a huge sign of success. It just means she sprayed or she didn't. It doesn't equal anything. True or false? You should not go to the bathroom before you try to waterfall. The answer is no. Some people like to drink a bunch of water and do these techniques to try to help them waterfall, but you don't have to do that. You can use the restroom before you try to squirt, and you will still be able to, for the most part, squirt. Use the restroom. You should be able to waterfall, even if you use true or false. Every single woman can waterfall. That's when you know the water spraying from the kitty cat. The answer is false. Not every single woman can actually waterfall and get, the water to spray from her kitty cat. It's just like a thing some women can do and some women can't. It doesn't mean she's having bigger O's or that a guy is better in bed. It actually means nothing. It's just something that happens. So if you can't waterfall, don't be mad. Don't be upset. You're not missing out on anything. It's like how people can wiggle their ear or nose. It doesn't do anything for them. They're not going to get ahead in life or feel better because they can wiggle their ear. The same with being a girl that can spray. It's just something you either can do or not. Okay, next thing to help you figure out how to waterfall is you want to understand the sensation. For visual learners, most women describe are two different things. Some say it feels like a physical or emotional buildup. It's just like the sensation that's building and building, and then it just releases. It's like an exhale of just, and it sprays out, and then they start to waterfall. So you might feel emotionally like, something's happening, or physically like, oh my gosh, I feel something building and building. And it's like when you finally release, the dam breaks and it just flows from you. So that might help you be prepared for when you start to feel that sensation physically or mentally. You might be the type that is more like a dam that just broke and the water is just flooding from it. The other version that women usually describe is kind of like a warm, steady buildup. Some women describe it like there's a hole in the boat and now water just starts to gently spray until it's just like all out of you. It's more like a nice, soft release. It's this warm sensation that built up and then flows out of you. You might try to visualize just a slow trickle of water coming out. Try those two different things mentally when you are warming up, practicing foreplay, and in the moment. That might help you connect to your body and to yourself. Next, if you want to waterfall, now that you understand the sensation and the visual aspect, you want to understand the where. Where is the X marks the spot on the map of how you're going to get yourself to waterfall? It starts with the big G. As we know, the G spot is where you need to be activating to get that sensation going. The G zone is located about an inch inside the kitty cat on the roof of the kitty cat. To understand how long an inch is, I always think about the finger. The first line is supposed to be 1 inch to the second line. That's 2 inches. So you want to be an inch to an inch and a half, inch in, and then press. Lots of people say to activate the G zone to try the come hither like this. That is one technique, but I like to think of it like a moonwalk where your two fingers are rubbing against the top roof. That helps me activate that zone better because you need to add pressure. It can't just be like a rub. You want to add a little bit of pressure on it and then rub at the same time. That is just one part of trying to get a girl to waterfall. She needs to have stimulation on the pearl spot. You need to have some stimulation at the same time. So it can be her hand, it can be a toy. You just need to be rubbing right there at the same time, activating the G zone. The G zone can like lots of different techniques. You can try the come hither, you can try the moonwalk, try faster, slower, try more pressure, less pressure. The next part to being able to waterfall is relaxing, because while you're having activation on the G and a little action on the pearl spot, you need to release to let it flow. That is why I talked about how to tap into the visual idea and the sensation of it to figure out what to expect. Learn the technique of visualization. That way you can imagine it. And that is the trickiest part, learning how to breathe and relax to let the water flow. Because so many people are tense, you're tight, nervous, and focused on the end result. You need to enjoy the journey, not just the destination. Because if you're just focused on trying to get the water, you're going to be super tense. You're going to be really in your head. You need to be fully relaxed, fully outside your head, and fully just letting it happen. You want to be focused on the journey, not on the destination. Lots of people swear that drinking lots of electrolytes, you don't have to be super hydrated. As I said, you can go to the bathroom and still squirt. Try drinking a bunch of electrolytes, try drinking a bunch of water, because whatever little mental things are going to help you waterfall, it might work, it might not work. Intimacy, learning your body, it is a process. So if you might not waterfall the first time, give it another try. Try little bits of that process. Try just having him activate the G zone and see what it feels like. Figure out what you like first, because there are so many things that combine to make you waterfall. Another thing to really help you waterfall is to do a lot of warm up, a lot of foreplay. Ladies, that can just be talking with your partner, doing some pre-cuddles, smooching, and teasing each other. Don't forget the girlies. Your tatas have so many nerve endings, so give little licks, flicks, pinches, whatever it might be. The nipples are very sensitive, and it should not be forgotten, because you can be playing with your own nipples while he's going down on you and trying to stimulate the G zone with his fingers, with his dick, whatever it might be. Doing lots of foreplay together and to yourself will help you do the big waterfall, okay? You want to make sure that no matter how you're activating the G zone, whether it's with the hand, a toy, or their pink water bottle, you need to have action on your pearl spot, okay? On the spot that starts with the C, because 80% of women can only reach the big O by having activation on the kitty cat, okay? On the little pearl. I hope that helps you girls reach the big waterfall. I know I said a lot, so feel free to go back and listen to parts of the episode wherever you were confused or just need to listen to it one more time. I'm always here to help you guys. What a fun episode of Girlcore. That wraps up this episode of Girlcore. I had so much fun talking with you guys, and I'll see you next week on Sunday.